before any thought about goals or effort arises. Notice the sense of being you carry right now. Not your tasks, not your plans, but the quiet feeling of who you are underneath all activity. This is where real motivation lives. Motivation does not begin with pushing the mind forward. It begins with identity settling into place. Today invites you to experience yourself from the inside out, allowing action to emerge naturally from self-concept rather than pressure. As your body rests and the breath moves gently, sense how much effort dissolves when you are no longer trying to become someone else. Hypnosis today works by reconnecting you with a deeper layer of identity, one that operates automatically and consistently. Bring awareness inward and let external roles soften for a moment. Titles, expectations, and comparisons fade into the background. What remains is a sense of presence, a continuity of self that moves through situations without needing constant force. The subconscious responds not to goals, but to identity. When the identity shifts, behavior reorganizes on its own. As attention settles, notice how your body recognizes truth not through logic, but through resonance. Ideas that align with identity feel steady and calm. Ideas that conflict feel tense or hollow. Today's work is about stabilizing an identity that naturally produces optimism, focus, and follow-through. Let the nervous system relax as it realizes nothing has to be pushed or proven. Now consider how habits are often framed as things you should do. This creates resistance because the subconscious resists commands that conflict with self-image. But when actions match identity, resistance disappears. Imagine the difference between forcing yourself to act confident and simply being someone who trusts themselves. One requires effort, the other feels obvious. As you breathe, allow the idea to form gently. I am someone who follows through. Notice how this feels. There is no need to immediately prove it. Identity is not built through dramatic acts. It is built through quiet consistency. Let this idea rest in awareness, not as a demand, but as an orientation. The subconscious listens more deeply when there is no pressure. Now introduce another layer. I am someone who responds to life with optimism. Not unrealistic positivity, but a grounded expectation that things can be worked with. Feel how this belief changes the emotional tone of imagined challenges. Instead of heaviness, there is curiosity. Instead of avoidance, engagement. Optimism as identity is not denial. It is trust in one's capacity to respond. As this settles, notice how attention naturally sharpens. Focus increases when the mind is no longer defending against self-doubt. Attention flows toward what matters because identity is aligned. Feel into the statement, I am someone who completes what matters to me. Again, there is no strain here. This belief does not require perfection. It allows for flexibility. Completion becomes a reflection of self-respect rather than obligation. The body responds to this idea with steadiness. Motivation born from identity feels calm, not frantic. It does not spike and crash. It endures. As these identity statements circulate inwardly, allow yourself to notice past moments when you already acted this way, even briefly. The subconscious updates faster when it recognizes evidence. You do not need a long list. 1 or 2 memories are enough. Feel them as proof points, anchors reinforcing identity rather than exceptions. As these memories integrate, the identity strengthens. Now imagine a future scenario where motivation used to require effort. See yourself acting without hesitation, not because you forced yourself, but because the action felt congruent. Congruence is the key. When who you are and what you do align, energy flows. This is the principle behind intrinsic motivation. You are no longer negotiating with yourself. You are expressing yourself. As attention deepens, recognize that identity does not demand rigid behavior. It is a direction, not a cage. You are someone who adapts, learns, and continues. This adaptability keeps motivation alive even when conditions change. Let this flexibility become part of the identity installation. I am someone who adjusts without giving up. The nervous system relaxes when identity includes self-compassion. Harsh identities lead to burnout. Supportive identities sustain momentum. Now allow these ideas to merge into a single felt sense. Not words, but a posture of being. A quiet inner stance that says, "This is how I move through life." From this place, action feels less dramatic. Small steps feel sufficient because they reinforce who you believe you are. Each aligned action strengthens identity, and each strengthened identity makes the next action easier. This creates a positive feedback loop that requires very little conscious effort. As the subconscious absorbs this loop, notice any emerging sense of confidence that does not rely on outcome. This is identity-based confidence. It persists regardless of immediate results. It is rooted in self-trust rather than success metrics. Let this confidence settle into the body, perhaps as warmth in the chest, stability in the spine, or ease in the breath. These sensations are signals of integration. They indicate that the subconscious is accepting the new pattern. Continue resting here, allowing repetition to do its work. Identity is reinforced not by intensity, but by consistency. Even a few minutes in this state begins to reorganize motivation automatically. Before concluding, gently affirm inwardly, in your own felt language, that you act in alignment with who you believe you are. There is no urgency attached to this statement. It is simply true and becoming more true over time. As awareness begins to widen, know that this identity will express itself subtly. You may notice less internal debate, more quiet follow-through, and a steadier sense of optimism. These are signs that motivation is no longer being forced. It is being generated from within. You are not trying to build discipline. You are allowing identity to lead. And when identity leads, action follows naturally, calmly, and consistently, shaping a positive mindset that feels authentic and sustainable. As you carry this identity forward, notice how it subtly influences choices throughout your day. Moments that once required effort now feel like natural expressions of who you are. Motivation becomes a quiet current rather than a push against resistance. Each aligned action reinforces the sense of self, and each strengthened sense of self makes subsequent actions easier. Observe how this affects